Well, hello, hello. Welcome back to Nothing Upstairs. This is a podcast about just two guys yapping away, talking about nothing. Um, and yeah, I'm just gonna go right into it. So how's your week been, Etzel?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Just went to Atlanta, Georgia. Was
Hmm.
told that it was gonna be like was told that it was gonna be like terrible and like a terrible city for some reason. And I showed up and I was like, this is nice. I don't know. Maybe I didn't go to the bad parts of Atlanta. If there are even bad parts of Atlanta, I enjoyed it. I thought it was beautiful.
What did people say were bad? I mean, I haven't been, so I don't really know much about it. But
It was
what did you hear?
mostly my aunt being like, it's such an ugly city, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go and see because mostly I was going to try to go to the Georgia Aquarium, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go, and then I went, and I didn't see a bad part, but okay, sounds good.
Hmm,
Um,
fair enough.
I'm a we are from a state where there's not too many trees, so I was not used to the large and tallness of and just like how many trees there were. And so I felt really weird. Like there was a friend from Atlanta over there that was like, "Are you taking pictures of the trees?" And I was like, "Yeah, just leave me alone. We don't have this shit at home."
It's sad out here, man. It is so
It's
sad.
sad.
No, I'll let you continue.
No, it's you're 100% right. It's so sad. It's like grass and like short bushes everywhere, and I'm like, I don't like this. And it's flat, and I yeah. Oh my god. Hold on. I like how you're blaming me for this shit. Hello. You know what? At this fucking point, let's just continue. I don't even care.
Oh my
Let's
god.
just keep going. If
See,
you're if you're
I got
if
my
you're
shit figured out.
if you're watching this podcast and you're not just listening to it, that's your own fucking fault. Let me tell you. I don't know why you would ever want to stare at us too. Just look like we're just woke up slash snorted cocaine.
Speak for yourself. Also says the person
I'm
that
not speaking for
insists.
myself.
Also insists on the person that insists on wanting to put this on YouTube. It's gonna be a watch thing if it's on YouTube. God,
This
this
man
guy.
says hello every single time to this podcast. Brian, I swear you look like you snorted a line of cocaine. You're like, hello.
I don't know what to tell you. I love cocaine. What can I say?
How have you been? What have you done?
No, yeah, I was gonna say like, hey, I also went on a trip. You know that. I did a road trip. Went west to New Mexico and then northeast to Chicago. It was a long trip. It was like
That's too
over
much
like
driving.
3,000 miles drive. Like I don't know. We decided to go to New Mexico just because like I've never been, and I have like a membership to Meow Wolf, so I really wanted to check out their Meow Wolf over there.
Did
So
you
it's
go
like,
for the meow wolf?
I mean, like yes and no. That is
Yes
like
and no,
one of
mostly
the
yes.
what that is one of the big reasons that I went there. But also like I never been, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard too many good things about it, but at the same time, like I was like, what the hell? I haven't been. I'll go check it out for myself. And turned out like I really liked Albuquerque. The little, I don't know what to say, but like the theme, I guess, in the whole town is kind of just this indigenous tribe that they have there, and they used to live in this. They're called like huds. They're like little dirt clay rectangle square buildings, and they're really cute looking, and I like it a lot. And the whole town, it just makes the whole town look very like it's got like personality. It's not just like, oh yeah, it's just buildings here and there. It's not all, there's apartments. No, it's like they're all like little, I don't know, units, I guess. And it's like it's really cute and it's nice, and the food is great.
Oh yeah. Tell me
I
about the food.
I gain like 15 pounds, man,
That's your
in
fault for looking at your weight. I don't
the
look at that.
span of 2 weeks. I gained
Uh,
15 pounds,
That's
and
crazy.
holy fuck me, am I Am I feeling it?
Ah!
I am feeling all. It was like, cause okay, I didn't know this. Again, I am extremely uncivilized and uncultured, but New Mexico supposedly was very. It's they're known for their chili, red and green chili. That's like their thing,
Yeah.
and pretty much like everything that Latin cuisine they have like so whatever red sauce green sauce that you want with it or whatever sauce you want and they always have like either red or green chili or you can mix it whatever. It's called Christmas because red and green.
Oh yeah.
And they are fucking phenomenal, dude. There is like one place that I went to. I already forgot the name, but I have it on my phone. I can look it up later. This is like a mom and pop shop. Their enchilada, oh my god, I had it. We had
Really.
it 3 times in the
Oh.
span of 1 week because we were in like Albuquerque for I think 3-4 days, and then
Yeah.
we're in Santa Fe for like 2-3 days. That's the duration of New Mexico that we stayed in. So yeah, for that like 3-4 days time, I had the same dish enchilada 3 days. I think it was like in a row too. It was so good. But then after that, Meow Wolf was fun. I did not know that the Meow Wolf in Santa Fe was the first one ever.
Oh
And like
really?
you can kind of tell too. It's like a little bit smaller. It's a little bit,
Okay.
for lack of better terms, older looking.
Yeah.
And the for those that don't know, Meow Wolf is like a
And I don't know how to describe
I
it.
don't even know how to describe it. It's like an amusement. Well, it's
Mm,
not an amusement park. It's
it's
a
an
themed
immersive. Yeah. It's like an
it's a
immersive art
it's an
exhibit
immersive art museum slash
concept.
escape room. No,
Yeah.
not really. You
No,
don't have
it's
to
not.
escape anything, but you there are like
Clues and stuff.
stories and things that you can solve if you would like to. There I think within the United States there's like 7 Meow Wolf, I think, and all their stories are intertwined. Each place has a different main topic, but they're all intertwined in one way or another. You can tell, like for this one, since this is the first one, maybe they revamped it. I don't know, but it was definitely a little bit more lacking compared to the one in Dallas Fort Worth that I went to. But it was still really fun. It was a good time. It like in the art, the lightings, everything. It's incredible. I highly suggest everyone check it out. It's definitely a bit on the pricier side, but if you're like a nerd and you like to solve mysteries and stuff like that, 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Even if you just want to see night weird ass
Even if you
trippy
just
shit.
want to see like weird art, then
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
yeah. And my most of my friends go there. They don't even bother with the mystery stuff. They just go in
They're just
for
like,
the
wow.
weird trippy shit, and they're just like, nice. I think what after that we stopped in at Kansas just to check out the Kansas State because Alexa was from there, and also just a good halfway point to kind of rest real fast. Manhattan, Kansas is nice. It's a nice little quaint little town. It's an egg school. I don't know. It reminded me a lot of Davis actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a
Well,
little bit.
where is Davis?
Davis, UC Davis is where I went to school. It's
Mhm.
like 30 minutes outside of Sacramento in
Okay.
California.
So it's like a small, quaint college town
Davis
kind of
itself,
vibe to it.
no.
Not
Manhattan,
Davis,
Kansas,
Manhattan.
yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not small, but it's like a college town. It's nice. I liked it.
Yeah.
And then from there, we went to Chicago. Had my first authentic Chicago style deep dish. I've
Oh,
had deep dish
nice.
before, but like obviously not like from
In Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah.
It was so good. Like
Ugh.
I again stuffed my face to the brim. It was so good. And they also had a Chicago style liquor. I think it's called Malord.
My
Tastes like
lord.
shit.
Oh.
It tastes like shit. It I mean like I'm glad I tried it because it's like a I don't know, I've always like when I go traveling, I always like trying out the local, delicacies or whatever or like local
Yeah.
anything local. And it have this like weird medicinal sweetness but also green tea flavor to it.
Interesting.
But like if I'm just saying that, it can sound like it's not a bad thing. No, no, this particular
It
combination, it's not great. It
and
is
trust, it's shit.
it like as I said, I do not regret trying it, but I would not get it again unless it's like a prank for someone else.
Yeah,
But like yeah, it was. I still drank the whole thing, but it was like it was not good. I mean,
dude.
it got it,
Every single place has got to have, what I've learned from traveling is that every single place has their shitty, terrible thing that everybody likes and swears by from that place, and then you go in there and you're like, this is not good.
See, the thing is though, that is not the case in Chicago. In Chicago, for my lord, from what I heard, it's like maybe 30% of the people like it. Like maybe 30% of Chicagoans like it. The rest of them, because even as I ordered it, the waiter, he was like, "Oh, okay,"
Oh, why would you
and
did that?
pretty much he gave it to me. He's just like, "Good luck." I was just like,
That's
"Okay,"
crazy.
and then he came back later. He's just like, "How do you think?" I'm like, "I don't like it." He's like, "Yeah, neither do I." I'm like, "Well, I have to try it." But yeah, it's like Taiwan with our stinky tofu. Man, like it definitely has a bad rap to it. First of all, the name. It just doesn't sound good. It sounds
No,
disgusting.
I will say.
And secondly, it is mostly a type of street food, so presentation wise also doesn't look that great.
Mm.
And since it's like fermented tofu beans, so it also doesn't smell that great, which is why it's called stinky tofu. But I swear to God, if you find like a good food truck, good stall, I have one that I go to. It doesn't smell bad. It just smells like fried food, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I like fried shit. It's delicious, and that place have the best stinky tofu. They also have like this pickled kimchi type thing that kind of goes on top of the sauce. That all goes on top of the tofu itself. Oh, so good, man. I love it. Anyway, but yeah, going back to Chicago. Yeah, it's my first time going to Chicago. I don't know if you've ever been,
I've never
and
been. I really want to go,
I also
but
didn't know that it's
so
called.
these hoes. Hold on. So
Oh my god!
this
Don't call us
so
ho. It is 100% your own fault. Okay, so I'm not gonna let him tell the story because he's gonna butcher it.
what do you
So
mean?
the whole thing is, hey, Etzel, Alexa and I are going on this road trip. You should join us because it will be fun.
That's
And
not how it was said.
no, it was 100%. It was like you should join
Not
us.
how
It'll
it
be
was
great.
said.
And then this guy was like, "Oh yeah, okay, ha 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 ha." Ha." And then like, I don't know, a couple days in, we're like sending him photos of the food that we're eating and places that we're seeing. We're like, "Dude, you should have joined, man. This is great. You're missing out." And he's just like, "Oh, what do you mean? You meant it?" And we're like, "Bitch, yeah. What the fuck did you think we are doing?
To
Just
say that
inviting
this
you for shits and giggles?"
I think it was the how last minute it was that caught me off guard. Because it definitely sounded like a joke. You were like, hey, we're leaving tomorrow. You
It
should
was
join us.
not like that.
It
You
was
had
like
at
that.
least a week heads up, at least.
Whatever.
And since this guy is unemployed right now, a week is plenty of time.
You would be surprised. Um. So yeah, the by the way, talking about stinky tofu, there is another thing. There is one thing in Puerto Rico that I do not like. That some people like bear. I don't think anybody likes it. Does anybody fucking like this? If you're Puerto Rican in the comments, let us know if you like this because it's guanimos. I think it's called, and it's literally boiled cornstarch, and it's just not good. Like
It just
that's
sounds like cornmeal.
that it's just that's what it is. That's the meal. That there you go. It's like
Like, do you eat it with like, I don't know, anything? Is like gravy,
no,
sauce, or
I mean not really. You just eat it.
you just eat the starch like Play-Doh style?
It's definitely like a peasant food. It's definitely like we're in a war. Like we need to figure out what to eat kind of food. But it's like the war is over, y'all. We don't need to be eating that anymore. Oh my god.
Fair
It's the
enough.
same feeling that I get when I look at some, not all. I'm not trying to shit on y'all. Listen. It's the same feeling that I get when I look at some Eastern European foods. I'm like, we don't need to be eating this anymore. This is
That like beans on toast.
yeah. It's like maybe now we have, I don't know, some money to buy
Dude,
something else.
one of my one of my previous exes, their household was Italian. I don't think that's like an Italian thing, but they cooked a lot of like European style stuff, I guess. And one of the things that one day her grandma just came up to me and asked, like, "Hey, do you want a shits on a shingle?" And I was like, "Huh?"
Huh?
I was like,
What was that again?
at that point, I was like, I don't know, a freshman in college. So not only was I uncultured and uneducated, I was also young. So I was like, do I want to shit on a what? And she's just like, shit on a shingle. You never had it before? I was like,
That sounds disgusting.
No,
And I don't know if I want to.
anything with the word shit in it. I don't know if I want it.
Typically, if someone offers me shit, I typically say no.
But it's this thing where like it's it's also on toast. It's the same style as beans on toast, where it's just like goopy shit on toast. And it was like, I think, minced shredded turkey with green beans cooked in a certain way. So it's kind of almost like a congealed glob, and then you slap that shit on your toast. And I swear to God, it just looks like shit. The name sounds like shit, but it tasted so good.
Oh, really?
It
Oh, that's
tasted
crazy.
amazing. I was
That's
literally to a point
crazy.
where, like, I mean, granted, like pretty much anything, because again, Italian. Anything that her grandma made was so good. It was top notch. It was delicious. Yeah.
Well, so you went to Chicago. I went to
Yes.
Georgia.
Yes.
You did some eating. I also did some eating. I don't think I did as much eating as you did, but I
I
did
did so
try
much eating.
a place called Canoe in Georgia. Shout out to Canoe. We tried. I got the fried mushrooms from the appetizer and a rabbit over, I think, four cheese ravioli, and that shit was fantastic. Highly recommend. But what are we talking about today? Tell me.
Today, in general,
Yes.
I mean, like, I guess.
No,
Oh, okay.
tomorrow.
Well, I guess we're done with our small talk, guys. Moving on.
Moving on.
No, today I kind of just want to like do some simple stuff. Just kind of talk about like pets and like the idea of pets and kind of what it means to have a pet. Why some people probably 100% shouldn't,
Yeah.
and why some people would 100% benefit from having some pets.
Looking at
Stuff
y'all.
like that. But I'll ask you first. Like, when I bring up the word pet, what is your first thought? Like, what's your first, I don't know, anything? What's your first idea?
My first idea is that it's crazy. And I say that as having a pet myself. The idea that we're all fucking poor out here. And we're all struggling, and we all collectively say, hey, you know what? You know what will be best? If I take care of another living being. Like, that's crazy. It's like one step in the direction of having a child. I'm like, having a child is crazy. Having a pet is crazy, but not as crazy. And then the amount of things we just have as pets, like, y'all.
To go back a little bit though, you you do want kids in the long run, right?
I
Or
am
no?
not particularly sold on the idea. I would
Okay.
be fine with having kids if like my partner wanted kids,
If it
but I
just
don't.
popped out of nowhere, you're like, oh, I'm a dad
I
now.
guess we have a kid
Okay,
now.
sounds
Yeah,
good. Beautiful.
but I'm not gonna be like, oh, we need to have them. Like, let's make sure, let's plan out. Like, some people are like planning their life out to have children. But that's not me.
Yeah. Okay. Bear with me. This is gonna sound crude to start off, but what is the difference between pets and kids? Obviously, like, let's say if you that's just kind of up the game a little bit. You have a really intelligent husky. Obviously, you don't really have to take it to school. There's like doggy training schools and stuff like that, and there's like social playgrounds and stuff like that too. But let's just say, legality wise, you don't have to take your pets to school. You kind of just raise them. You still spend a lot of money. Some people spend even more money on pets than they do their children. you kind of have to make like if you want, in a sense, I guess the a good life for your animal, and your animal is also one that is social. You have to take it out on social outings. You need to have like a doggy best friend. You need to have your dog's quote unquote girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, if they choose to have one. Just because, like, as we all know, like we can still play with our animals, but it is not the same as two dogs playing with each other because they speak the same language. They know they have that same. It's like, I don't know, if I'm lonely and you give me like two monkeys, and it's like, yeah, I can hang out with two monkeys, but I much prefer to hang out with a human.
Well, I don't know why my first thought is it's as if I'm lonely and you gave me your phone with a FaceTime person from just a random person from Italy and be like, here you go. And then you're like, I don't speak the same language.
God, but yeah, no, I go back a little bit. Like, what is the you think is the biggest difference?
So I think this is I think this makes people uncomfortable, and it's kind of along the lines of what you were saying. It makes people uncomfortable, but the similarities are actually the differences are actually not that many. There's a lot more similarities between having a child and having a pet. And saying that, sometimes people get upset. Sometimes people just get uncomfortable generally, but I mean, a pet involves training, which we don't call raising a child training. But when you're raising a child and you're disciplining them and you're like trying to correct their behavior and show them what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, you are training the child. Like that's
100%.
just and operant conditioning and all of these other forms of behavioral conditioning are sciences that apply to both humans and animals. Even though it makes people uncomfortable, that's just the reality. And so if you positively reward your child for something good they did, they will continue to do it. And things like punishment can also be used depending on the culture and depending on what kind of punishment and stuff like that can also be used to discipline. And it's just generally very very similar. You have to take your kid to the doctor obviously, and you have to make sure that they're good and healthy, and you do the same with your pet. Really, the difference, I think, one of the biggest stark differences, I think, is the fact that your dog doesn't understand many things. And so your child at first won't understand a lot about the world, but you're trying to raise your child to become more or less like you, having some understanding of the world, having an ability to like navigate it and be independent. Your pet, you're never raising them to teach them to be independent. They're always going to be dependent on you. They're always going to be with you, and then their lifespan usually, depending on what pet it is, usually it's shorter. Some pets out here, I don't know if anybody, maybe a lot of our listeners just have like dogs. Reptiles in particular, some fish, they can outlive you easily. Some
Yeah,
birds as well, they can
parrots,
outlive you.
turtles, don't get those unless you want to pass them on to your kids, and we mean that. Well, unless you
Like,
take really shitty care of it and it just dies.
yeah,
Otherwise, yeah, don't. It's a very, very, very long term commitment. But I do agree with you. It's as you said, like even if those people that are just like, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna ever perform like scientific experiments or whatever. You know, it's like no, it's not whether they're scientific or not. It's just something that we do, even even if we know it or not. It's, something as simple as, hey, your kid did something good today, so you rewarded him or her with a candy bar. That itself is operant conditioning. That itself is a form of positive reinforcement because they did something well, and you want them to know that. Thus, you gave them a reward, which they then translate in their brain that, hey, doing this specific thing equals reward, which means good. I'm going to continue to do that, which is a form of operant conditioning. But I think a big thing is the word itself, the word
yeah.
pet. It
Mm-hmm.
gives off this, whether it's positive or negative connotation, it kind of depends on the person, but it gives off this definition that you are of a lower class
Right.
almost. Because,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that kind of also is a huge reason why a lot of us millennials, we are like, no, these are my childs.
Yeah.
They are my children.
Hmm.
They are not just my pet. They are my life, and
Right.
it's because a lot of us, we value them no lower than we would each other as human beings,
Right.
because they are just a different form of life. They are still
Right.
a very precious. They have feelings. They have their own consciousness, whether you understand it or not. That's
Right.
not their fault that they don't communicate the same way you do. But yeah, no, I think that's really interesting. The going back a little bit about talking about dehumanizing, and even in like the not so gruesome way, there's like the oddity circus, back
Yeah.
in the day that people would. It was it like a really negative thing compared to a lot of other examples? No, not really. But it was it still dehumanizing? Yeah, they're kind of just because they look different or whatever, they just sit there on a stool in
Yep.
chains for people to watch just because
Hmm.
they look different.
Yep.
Granted, sure, a lot of people made career and fames out of it. I think it was like the lobster family. I forgot what they're called, but they made a fortune out of their deformities and their disabilities. But it's still, I'm sure, if given the choice, they would have much rather had a quote unquote normal life. But yeah, no, I think talking about going back to pets, it it is like that's kind of one thing that I wanted to get at was both of us having worked in the animal field for so long, it so often is so disheartening to us when people use the phrase, "Oh, they're just animals."
Yeah. Hmm.
And granted, the ones that we work with, they're not pets.
Right.
But I mean, like we do also work with pets here and there. But it's the same train of thought. It's just because they are not humans, therefore they are lesser. And it's
Right.
like, well, no. If you yourself, if you have a dog, if you have a cat, you have a beloved animal, you would know that if you accidentally step on its tail, if you accidentally step on its toes, it yelps, you would feel so bad. And it's not just another animal. It's not, oh, sorry, it's not just it's an animal. It is another life. It is part of us. It is part of the natural order. It is part of this world. And you chose to, in the purpose of staying on pets, you chose to take up this responsibility and this life. Don't belittle it in a sense. Like, don't feel like just because you are more capable, therefore you are allowed to put this being lower. And I know like some people just don't feel that way. Some people are just like, yeah, a dog's a dog, it's got its purpose. And that's a lot of my some of my extended family that still lives in China. That is their thought is, a dog is a guard animal. You don't play with the dog, you don't talk to the dog unless it's like a command or order. You feed it because you need it to live to guard the house, but otherwise a dog is there to protect the house and nothing more. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, because to me it is almost like a form of a job. Like you have an employee, you pay it. It's just a live-in situation. They don't necessarily belittle it because they understand how important that dog's job is. But that's a huge difference between that and people that kind of just like, it's just an animal, so fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the language around it is so important, and it also reveals like very hard truths about us. First of all, you think yourself as more valuable oftentimes because you feel more capable in a human world to take care of this animal and to take care of yourself, and that's all true. But the roles can be easily reversed. We've seen many instances where we have a hiker, for example, who goes out with their dogs and does hiking out in Utah or some stuff, and then they get into trouble, and now all of a sudden the animal becomes the capable one, and the dog helps the human survive. They seek out help. They may help you seek out food, and it's easy to kind of, I mean, this is very dog specific, but it's easy to devalue them as like just being lazy and like in the house and stuff like that. But if the situations were different, and the situations were different back in prehistoric times when dogs got domesticated. They were essential. In some instances, you having a dog or you not having a dog could spell life or death for you, could spell whether you were successful or not. And so to look at them and to like respect that. Also, the thing, I don't even want to get started on pigeons, but the same sort of similar. It breaks my heart to see how pigeons are like treated and you
What do
know
you mean,
kind
those
of people.
sky rats?
Them nasty motherfuckers out in New York. But the pigeons are the reason they hang out with us, and they hang out in cities and urban environments is because pigeons were domesticated. They got very used to human life, and they kind of helped us a lot. They helped us in many different tasks. Mainly, the biggest impacts were in communication, but like they were is super important. They still are to our ecosystems, and they're still important. And I would say they're still important to us. It's just that we've largely forgotten them as our modes of communication have changed, and the way that they're treated just has completely changed. But also, this language of dehumanization, it also makes me sad that dehumanization is bad. It's a bad thing to dehumanize someone or to dehumanize a group of people, particularly a group of people, because it has political and like historical uses that are usually very harmful for the group of people that are being dehumanized. But the way that I look at it sometimes is like it's heartbreaking that dehumanization even leads to that. That comparing somebody to an animal leads to them being treated terribly. And the assumption there or the implication there is that if you're an animal, you're disposable. If you're an animal, you're not valued. And it's just not only does it break my heart, but it reveals a lot about how we assign value in the world and how we treat other life. We spend so much time looking out into the skies and being like, are we alone? We're not alone. We're in a planet filled with millions upon millions of beings that are as intelligent, sometimes as intelligent, other times intelligence in different ways and capacities than us, coexisting in a huge planet. And we take it for granted and we're looking at the stars to see if we're alone when we just have to look beside us and be like, look, we're not alone. When we look at like orcas and killer whales, for example, and the way that they have culture and language. Same thing with just other cetaceans. When we look at the way that octopuses are able to camouflage so well to their environment, that's a level of intelligence that we're never going to be able to comprehend. When we look at the way that chimpanzees kind of group together, and the way that we've even scientists that study chimpanzees have been able to draw conclusions about human political realities and truths about the way that we handle our world is crazy. It's crazy that we even think to ourselves, "Oh, are we alone?" You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%.
Sorry.
I
Can you put a pin on this real quick? Let me. I don't think I connected my laptop. Is the one thing that I forgot to do.
oh well, I swear to God, if your laptop dies and we lose our whole recording, I'm gonna murder you.
I know this. Yeah. All right. Anyway, sorry. What you were saying?
No, no, I was gonna say that's that. No, yeah, that's a really good thought, and I think I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here. So,
Yeah.
going back to the pigeons, using them as
Mm-hmm.
communication, messenger pigeons, they were a huge thing during, um, I forgot which war it was, but whatever. They were used for communication. People, put like the typical thing where they put little notes on their little anklets and then they fly them off. But they were so abundant that people literally killed them all. We don't have passenger pigeons anymore. No, passenger
Yeah.
pigeons.
Passenger pigeons.
We
Yeah.
don't. I don't know why I say messenger pigeon. We don't have
Messenger.
passenger pigeons anymore, and yet we're not feeling much of a difference. Sure, we lost that form of that animal, and that's lost that form. We have other types of pigeons. We also nowadays don't use pigeons. We are, me and you right now, we're using Discord, and both you and
Could
I.
you imagine? And
What?
we're just like, this is our podcast, and it's just pigeons flying
Flying
across.
back and forth. That'd be something. But yeah, also just like you and I, we both have, in a sense, exotics. I have snakes and other reptiles and two rats. You have fish. Well, you
Yeah,
used to. You used to have
I
fish
used to.
and
I still have
also
leopard though.
reptiles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are, for the lack of better terms, they are, in a sense, useless in our life besides
Mm-hmm.
emotional, I guess, support and it just like the bragging right, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
What why can't we say they are of a lower class and they are kind of just, since they're in a sense pretty much
Yeah.
useless
Yeah.
to
I
us
think
anyway, to us.
I think in that particularity, like language is as useful and as beneficial as the use for it is. So when we say that they are of a lower class, what are we trying to do? Because when I look at it, yes, you can talk
I'm
about
trying to
like,
feel like I'm better than them. Like
no, I
your
see.
your fish, my snake, my rats, they're just little things. I can literally stomp on them, no one will care.
Perfect. If that's our message, by the way, just
That is
go
not our
around and
message.
stop animals.
That is not our message. I am making it clear right here. I love my animals.
um, but the use of language is only as good as the use for it is. So, like, what application are you trying to do? So, when somebody uses language in a particular way, I think a lot of times people get into the idea that we have to use language as accurately as possible. And true, I'm not shitting on that idea. That's totally fine. But like it's the same thing around like emotional intelligence and stuff like that. But language is practical. The entire reason the language exists is to communicate between humans so that we can implement certain things, so that we can do things in the world and implement certain actions. That's the entire reason language even exists. And it's not only a human thing. Animals also have languages and have their forms of communication. When I look at language as a thing of practicality, I like to look at it and say, whatever language we're using, whatever words we're using, what is the application? What's the implication of this language? More than just, is the language accurate?
Is it true to say that we are just better than animals? Because, as a lot of people's arguments, like, who else can make a computer? Can a snake make a computer? No, not really. Humans can. Can literally anything else in this world make what humans can make? No, we are the only ones. So why is it not that we are better? Is that why we have pets? Because we want to feel the sense of superiority? Is that why we want to kind of have something that we can control? Like a dog's life is simple, where it's just like you just need to feed it, walk it, pee it, uh, bathe it, whatever. It's simple. You don't have to worry about beyond health issues. You don't have to worry about much else. Do you think that has something to do with that sense of superiority and the sense of control?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can tell just based off what animals we like and what animals we don't like typically. So we like animals that we can understand,
It's
which
like
are
band
typically
people. You're like,
yeah.
you're a fish guy. I see. You're like them Toombas. Toombas? Is that an instrument?
Tubas? That's not an instrument.
What am I trying to say?
Not the tubas. And now just you said it and now it's wiped. Like I know which instrument you're thinking about. The tuba. There
Two.
we go.
Oh yeah. I was like, damn, I know it's wrong, but I was like,
The
what is it
tuba.
called?
Um motherfucker just invented a new instrument. The I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So the way that we look at animals and which animals we like and we don't like are like is very revealing. So we like animals that are charismatic. We call them in the zoological world. We call it charismatic megafauna. The word mega implies big because typically we do like animals. We have a bias towards bigger animals, and then we have also a bias towards animals that look like us or interact like us in ways, which is why we find it's super cute when a dog does something that we do. You know, the images get spread online and go viral when a dog sits like a human or like when they do something human like, because we just have that inherent bias in the research field. We call it anthropological bias, and it can affect the way that we understand animal behavior. It affects the way that we can understand animal behavior. Sometimes we kind of let our human kind of way of understanding the world and language cloud the way that we view animal language. Mostly, we study animal intelligence, for example, in comparison to human intelligence. So we say the animals that are most intelligent are the animals that can do human things. The animals that are most look how intelligent a chimpanzee is. They're able to use an iPad. It's like, so again, it reveals that anthropological bias to how we understand language. If we judge, it's the saying, if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's that saying.
They're pretty bad at
Um,
it.
they're pretty bad at it historically. I don't know. I met some fish. Listen,
Honestly, though,
but
those like fucking salmon, they climb, man. They climb
I'm sure they
waterfalls.
would jump a tree easily.
Probably,
Um,
honestly, yeah.
but the if we judge a human, for example, based on the ability for us to camouflage, I mean, if we have camouflage clothing, sure, but outside of that, we'd be pretty fucking bad at it.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, no, we are not able to change our skin color or skin texture,
Yeah,
but we have the means to do that.
right. We do have the means to do that.
Is that not part of, I guess, the whole package? Like, it must everything be kind of separate. Like, kind of you say, like, the fish climbing trees. Like, no, like fish generally cannot climb trees, but if you go into salmon's capability of jumping,
Right,
they honestly probably could climb trees if they
right.
like they are capable. They just you just won't ever find them doing that. And
Yeah,
it's like I have the capability of completely concealing myself using camouflage equipments and gears and face painting, all that stuff. You don't ever see me do it. I'm never gonna probably do it ever, but
yeah.
I have the capability. Is that not part of the intelligence kind of package?
It is. It is part of the intelligence package. It's a particular type of intelligence. So the intelligence that we have is the tool making part of the intelligence. But it goes back to the same. It ultimately goes back to the same thing, which is we're good at making tools. We're really, really good at them. We're the best at making tools. Is that gonna be what we judge? Is that how we're gonna judge intelligence? And it's is that how we're gonna judge value? Is based on the ability of something to make tools. And then once you kind of think about it that way, you see how arbitrary it is. You're like, why do we use the ability to make tools as the judgment of whether you do receive value or don't receive value? I think this can also get into the trickiness of like veganism versus vegetarianism versus like all these other things. And by the way, you do you. If you're a vegan, if you're a vegetarian, if you're not, you do whatever you want to do. But the again, this is another question further than just value. Do is us valuing animals the same way as humans, or the two placing animals at the same value as humans? Does that mean that we can't use them for the benefit of humans? Some people would say yes. I'd say no. I'd say you can still treat animals humanely and fairly during their life and still understand that some animals are needed for human consumption, or not really needed for human consumption. That's not really true. But some animals are needed for just human use. You can still use them, but still treat them like they're valued, still respect them, still, treat them well. That's the basis of animal welfare versus animal rights. It's a whole other topic, but that's one thing. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
No, I think that is fair. I was just gonna say, I think that I kind of look at it as like almost like Olympic sports. I'm not gonna pretend I know all the sports. I don't. I don't know all the sport. I know there are stuff like, let's say I'm trying to find the one that is, oh god, what is that one called? Where like you toss a curling. It's like curling. That's an Olympic sport, right?
I don't know, fam. I don't. I know even less about sports.
I am gonna go on a limb and say yes.
It sounds like it.
You know what? Fine, diving. Let's go diving,
Yeah.
just
I
in
was like,
case.
there's like a
Cur-
million other
just in case
more.
curling. Well, I'm trying to find one that is like a little bit more arbitrary, like diving. Diving,
Yeah.
much like any other Olympic sport, you have to start training as a child. You have to get physically fit, mentally fit, emotionally fit, techniques, knowledge, all that jazz. But am I ever gonna find use in diving? Not really. Does that mean I cannot look at a diving competition and respect them and be like, holy shit, that is. I am not a judge of it. Even I can tell that it's 10 out of 10. And it's like, no, yeah, I still can. I can still respect it. I can still appreciate it, even if it has nothing to do with, like, if they just tomorrow ban diving for the rest of eternity. No, I'm not gonna lie, I can care less. But that doesn't mean I cannot appreciate it and see the beauty of it and appreciate that people need dedication, determination, skill, knowledge, and all that extra stuff to get good at that. Even though it is not a skill set that I ever cared for or will need in my life. And to me, that is the same. I see it kind of the same as animals. And a big thing that people, it is not really a pet, but that people diss on are like the scavengers, vultures. I mean, as I said, I have two rats. In the wild, especially like New York, they are the janitors pretty much of the street. Sure, they also bring a lot of diseases and whatever, but that is beyond the point. They are this little thing that kind of scurries around. You don't even think twice, and frankly, for most people, when they see it, they want to kill it. But that doesn't mean that we cannot appreciate actually how incredible rats can be, especially if I want to use a a specific example, African pouch rats. For those that don't know, African pouch rats are a species of rat. They're like, I don't know, maybe yay big. They're pretty big. They are used in landmine detections in Africa. They are trained kind of like drug dogs. They are used to detect landmines, and it is this very, you guys can look it up. It's very cute little thing where they put on little harnesses, and they have a little radio antenna, and they let them go and they go sniff around, and then they go, here is a landmine, give me my blueberry, and then they mark it, and they that specific rat have saved so many lives, and that is the same species, same, I guess, the cousins pretty much to those sewer rats that you see in New York. And the thing is, like, if you do the same training with those New York City rats as a kid, as a kid, as their baby rats, they, granted, they probably won't be able to perform as well because their sense of smell is not as strong, but they can do just as much to their capability in that aspect, saving lives.
Yeah.
So
If
that's, I
somebody's
don't know,
out
that's
here in
how
New
I
York
view it.
City, if somebody is watching this from New York City, please make an army of rats at your disposal.
Dude,
I
have
just
you
want to see
seen
it.
those like memes where like people video like homeless people having like an army of rats that they train, and you should look
I
it up.
haven't.
You should look at, there's
That's
literally like this
crazy.
video, I think I seen it like years ago. This
Yeah.
homeless person, he has like, I don't know, maybe 10 rats just lined up in front of him, and he'll have them do tricks and all that stuff, and it's literally just 10 like New York style sewer rats. They're big brown motherfuckers.
New York style.
Yeah.
It reminds me of New York style pizza. You're just
Yeah.
like,
And
this
those rats
rat is New
probably,
York
I mean, that's
style.
what they live off of most likely, New York style pizzas. But yeah, that's how I see it. It's just like, just because it is a trade that we don't understand, we don't need, we don't use, does not mean that it is not something that requires a lot or something that we cannot appreciate. And in this sense, a trade, an animal.
Right. And even something that we no no one single human being has the intellect to decide what isn't of use,
I do.
because except Brian, obviously, and except myself. I just want to make that known. But the idea that you can just look at something and be like, I have enough information to kind of say that that's not really useful for us anyway, so I don't really care what happens to them. Another good example is like the right now, the blood of horseshoe crabs is extremely important for medicinal use. And if we had just back in, colonial times, I say back in colonial times, there's colonial stuff going on today, but back in like the era of discovery or whatever, the area of colonization, if we had uh if we had just arbitrarily chosen horseshoe crabs as like something fun to kill and we just killed them, which we did, many different animals we did that for, not horseshoe crabs in particular, um then we would have never found that use to begin with. And I'm sure that anybody back there could have literally just looked at horseshoe crab and be like, that's never going to be of any use for us. And it's like, you're not intelligent enough to decide that ever, really ever. Which is kind of why I think ultimately somebody that is, when I look at somebody and I see them as being empathetic towards animals or being passionate about animals, I immediately judge that person as being oftentimes more open-minded and more empathetic and more intelligent. Oftentimes, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's always the case, but it is a general trend that how you treat animals, you also does affect how you see other human beings. Because the if you treat living things dependent upon the value they have for you or the way that they're able to be commodified for you for your use, then that's not really just going to stop at animals. It can affect the way you see other humans, and you'll start using human beings as ways or commodifications for you to use, and that's where we get into really shitty behavior.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you and I, we can both speak from experience having worked with animals for so long, is the people, some of the nastiest people that we've had to deal with are the ones that are like, they're just animals. So how about you get back to digging?
Yeah, no, but it's the nastiest people oftentimes, and there's a reason why the serial killers from a young age, usually we start to see their brain start to develop in the way of a serial killer by the way they start to treat animals. They usually start to hurt animals and torture them or use them for experiments and stuff like that. And if you start doing that as an early child, in early child development, is a telltale sign that you could end up being a very dangerous person. So it's absolutely true, and it's also wild that even within the animal field, there are people who just view animals as commodifications. Like, it's like, why did you get into this? Hold on now.
Yeah, that is interesting. I definitely have met people like that too. They're just like, yeah, no, I work with this specific animal. Everything else is just shit. And it's like, that's an interesting
that's
thought. What do you? What's weird? I
that's
don't know.
really
Like,
strange.
I guess to put into like perspective, it's like people saying like, "Oh, I love books. I love Harry Potter." But like, I just Harry Potter. Everything else is garbage. And it's like, well,
All other books can be burned for
no,
all I care.
what? Yeah, no. It's like, well, no. What?
I don't know
That
about that
doesn't make
one.
sense. You're not a book person then. You're just a Harry Potter person. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
no.
interesting.
I think it's all extremely interesting, and I think the world would be a better place if we treat animals better. And that could ultimately change the way we relate not only to animals and the natural world overall, but how we relate to each other and how we view the planet as a whole. I think if we start to change some of the misconceptions and like implicit ideas that we don't really question. Stay curious, y'all. Not enough of y'all are curious. Stay curious. Just rethink the way you think about the world, the way you think your relationship with things, with the planet, with animals and stuff like that, so that we can make this world a better place. Because that's where it starts. And also the way that
I'm gonna cut
we
this out, but
what
make the world great again.
we're actually starting a movement called Animal MAGA. Please join. We have
Oh.
hats. Also, don't cut this out. Leave this in. But the yeah, now I can only think of this. It's like, well, this is a perfect segue for our political movement. What is it? But yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, and also the way that we view and understand the planet and the environment affects the way we view things within human society. One of the biggest influencing ideas of the 20th century and even slightly before then is the idea of social Darwinism. The idea that humans are no different than animals, and as such, humans compete with each other, and that's all okay. A society which allows free human competition all the time and which incentivizes it is the society that's most natural because humans are animals, and that's just the way that we're gonna be, which is just wrong. It's just an outright wrong ideology because a it doesn't take into account that humans within conspecifics, by the way, conspecific means within the species, humans are social, which means that we are more naturally cooperative than we are competitive with each other. We might be competitive with some things else in the natural world, but we're naturally very cooperative with each other. And then humans are also a extremely altruistic, much like cetaceans. We do help even other animals when we see them in trouble. Take every single video you've seen out there of like a stranded marine animal and the way that people immediately are trying to put them back in the water is humans have an instinctual altruistic kind of value to them. And then the third thing is that that also ignores the many ways in which nature cooperates with itself to thrive. Nature is not purely competitive. Competition and predation is a specific relationship within the environment, within nature. But it's not the only type of relationship there is. In nature, there's mutual symbiotic relationships or mutualism, where the animals help each other, like clownfish and anemones. In nature, I mean, we are literally breathing the air that trees produce for us, and they will breathe the air we produce. We are interconnected and cooperative extremely. Actually, I would argue that cooperation in the natural world is much more common than any other type of relationship. Once you start to think of the way that plants interact with animals and the way that bacteria even interact with you, if you don't know this, you're mostly bacteria if you're watching this, by the way. And most of that bacteria helps you survive. And you would probably die without it. So
Oh, I man, I took that as if you don't know this, then you're a bacteria.
yeah.
I was like, damn, dude, fuck.
Actually, you know what? Fuck all y'all.
You're a fucking bacteria, you.
Yeah. It'd be funny if
Yeah,
I
I
just spent
know.
all of that time arguing for empathy and open mindedness and be like, and that's why we need to kill some of y'all.
You are fucking protozoan. No, yeah, that is. Sorry, I was zoning out a little because I was thinking about like, is it mostly cooperative? I thought it was mostly like, I don't know why, but I have this idea that it was mostly parasitic, but
Parasitic.
probably not. I don't know.
I think
In
parasitism is
nature
like
is what
a.
I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think parasitism is a. Actually, when you kind of look at the whole ecology of the world as a whole, parasitism is actually not as common. Like, it's super common, but it's not the most dominant type of relationship
Yeah,
out there.
I don't think so either. I don't know why I have that thought just now, but
Yeah.
whatever. I was also thinking of something else, but I've completely forgotten what it was.
Our relationship, though, and I think this is artificial, largely artificial, and because of our really terrible understanding historically of nature and ourselves, our relationship with the world as it is right now is very parasitic. It doesn't have to be. We're not inherently parasitic to the world.
No.
We came from it and we are part of it. So that's just food for
And
thought,
the
people.
the idea of parasitism is, as it says, it's just a lot of taking and not giving back.
Right.
That's pretty much it. And just take one biggest example is deforestation. Just,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we are making that land into something else, but it is for us. It is not
Yep.
for everyone. And by everyone, I mean nature and the world.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, just literally mowing down millions of miles worth of forest just for like coffee beans or something.
Yeah. For profit.
Yeah, yeah, for profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that.
That's actually good. I defend that actually. Sorry. Just putting
We
it out
like
there.
money.
Waste my stance is yes, profit. Kill trees.
Yay is profit. Yeah, it is interesting. The thing is like, and it's also just like we're not trying to convince anyone to. At least I'm not trying to convince anyone to think differently, because that is one thing that I've learned is those people that have the tendency to be persuaded. From my experience, again, I know Etzel has a different philosophy than I do. But those people that have the tendency to be persuaded, they would, in their own form, one way or another, whether it is going to educational places or whatever, they would seek it out themselves. But a lot of times, like, they just don't give a fuck.
I think it depends on the relationship that you have with the person, but generally I agree with that. I like this podcast isn't gonna change people. Like if you don't like animals and you think they're shitty, I don't think us two fucking bubbleheads over here are gonna convince you otherwise. I think
I
that's
don't think
just
you'll be
naive.
here listening anyway.
No, I think you would have clicked off this episode. But it also depends on the relationship you have and with the person speaking to you, the experiences, which experiences are the biggest thing. We are not like I just realized look at my look at the way that I have my
Oh, I've been
my
looking at
beanie
that
on.
since you started.
Great, thanks, Brian.
Yeah, no
I'm just
problem.
over. It still looks shitty. I don't care, but I'm thinking it mostly depends on experience. We as animals, we've been talking about ourselves and referring to ourselves as animals. What what teaches us best than anything is experience. That's all animals, and that's not is excluding humans. That doesn't exclude humans. So language is used for practicality reasons to communicate and to implement things, but as a tool of persuasion, it's limited. Experience is way does way better things than language when it comes to that. So I yes I am I'm fully on board. I think the ability to convince people is limited. And if people are shitty, and also if people are psychopathic, they're gonna
For
be.
those people that are bad to animals, we should enslave them and make them into our pets. Make them live the
Yes.
life that they put on other animals.
Yeah. And then they'll
Gotcha.
learn.
And then
No.
they'll learn from their experience.
They
Nice.
will not.
All right. Well,
There we go.
I think that's all about pets that I can think of. I'm gonna bitch about this guy real fast. So
Okay, go ahead.
I found out from a mutual friend
Oh,
that
drama.
this fucker that's in
Mm-hmm.
front of me right now
Yeah.
finally watched K-pop Demon Hunter. And guess what? As I said, they liked it. However, this fucker, not you, the audience, the fucker that's in front of me, told the mutual friend is that I gave a very boring description
Oh,
of
yep. And you did.
K-pop. I
And you
did
did.
not. I did not. I went on
Yep.
such a long thing
Mm.
about how it is about the idea of self and acceptance of self, all that blah 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 yada yada shit that I know you like, for this motherfucker to literally, and I also described that there are hot demon boys and hot demon slash human girls, just for this fucker to be convinced by the mutual friend going, "Oh yeah, there are hot anime characters in there," and then this fucker went, "Okay, sounds good. You convinced me."
I will say I lied. I lied. The person that I lied to most is
Bob,
because I think I don't even know if she wants to be her name. You don't know who
Bob,
I is. Who give a fuck?
I told
Um,
her that. I
I
told her.
know.
She told me that, and I was like, "That motherfucker is all
I
lies."
think I think the person who I lied to most was
Bob,
because to be fair, you had convinced me. Like
Bob,
just put the cherry on top, which was just remind me that there are hot men. And then I was like, you know what? Yes. But here's the thing though. The reason I watched it is because
Bob,
pressured me to watch it. There was no other way that I was gonna watch it. I promise
She
you that
did
much.
not pressure you, according to her.
Um, so she didn't go, "Oh, you want to watch it?" Like, no, she went, "You haven't watched it? We're watching it tonight. We're going over to my house right after this." And I was like, "Okay."
You
And I
could have
went.
said no.
I could have said no, but do you even know me? I
I
said,
do
"Okay."
know you because I asked you the same thing and you said
This is the
no.
person. This is the person that said, "You okay? You did not pressure me that way. You have to pressure me. You have to pressure me."
Yeah, because I'm a good fucking person. I don't
No,
want to
you can't be
pressure
a
you.
good person. You can't be a good person. You have to
This
force
guy.
me. Pull out
This
a Glock
guy.
and just be like, watch it right now. But yeah, I did
This
like it.
fucker.
But I will say, I do stand by my prediction beforehand that I wasn't gonna like the music. I'm just not a big K-pop person. So she's
And
like, "Do
that
you
is
like the
fine.
music?" And I'm like, "No." But I did like the movie. The movie is fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah. And that is fine. As I kept
I'm
telling
glad it
you,
makes you mad.
it's not about the music. It's I mean the music is a big part of it, sure, and
Yeah.
you know whatever, but like I told you you would like the movie itself even if you don't like the music. And this motherfucker,
Is that why you're not the? Is that why you're not going to see The Long Walk with me or any of these other three movies that I've told you about recently? Is this your revenge?
No, the reason I'm not going is because I completely forgot.
Neat. That's
Yeah,
good.
I mean you told me about it once. I don't
I've
know
talked to you
what.
about The Good Boy. The Good Boy movie, I think you should see because it has an excerpt at the end where the dog trainer and the director, which was also the main character, talks about how he trained his own personal dog to do a movie over 3 years, and it's fantastic.
Yes, you did tell me that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good
yeah.
movie.
I mean, like
Everybody go watch it.
I'm down to watch it. I just don't want to pay for it.
Sounds good. I'll give you free tickets. Whatever. This needy bitch.
I'm a needy bitch, says the person that
Shut up.
just says they need to be
I'm walking out
pressured
of
to
here.
do something.
We're ending this podcast.
God, well, all right, guys. If you like this type of content, if you want to see me shitting on him some more, please like, subscribe, follow, ring that bell, whatever on whatever platform that you're listening, watching this
Hopefully not
on.
YouTube because this is rough.
Hey, I try my best to make the visuals entertaining. Okay, I might not be great at it, but
I think you
whatever.
did a good job. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I think that'll be it for this week, unless you have any last second things.
Nope. Go watch The
Alrighty,
Good Boy. It's good. Anyways,
it's good boy, good boy.
The Good Boy is good.
Alrighty, well, I'll see you guys next week. All right,
Adios.
ciao.